very important for you in the context for whatever years of studies you have engaged in at JIS University, because this is a very regular process, a cyclical process, and all of you will be engaged in it.
A very good morning to everyone. We are now on day 5 of our Student Induction Program 2025, and what a wonderful journey it has been so far. Over the past few days, we have laughed, learned, and most importantly, connected with our faculty, our seniors, and with one another. This program has been more than just an introduction to academics. It has been about discovering new ideas, values, and possibilities. From the earlier days, inspiring lectures, fun activities, cultural programs, interactive sessions, to the bonds we are beginning to form, each day has added something unique to our experience. Today, as we step into day 5, I encourage you all to carry forward the same enthusiasm. Be curious, be open, and participate wholeheartedly in today's sessions. Remember, the relationships you are building here and the lessons you are learning will stay with you much beyond these initial weeks. On behalf of the organizing team, I thank you all for your active participation and positive energy. Let us make day 5 another day to remember in this journey of new beginnings. Thank you, and let's look forward to an inspiring day today.
So the first session for today is, as you can see, it is mentorship program at JIS University. So JIS University has an active program of deploying a mentor for you. Each mentor will be having some number of mentees under their supervision so that you can grow academically and otherwise. So for this session, may I now invite Dr. Arindam Maiti, Professor, Department of Pharmacy. Sir, if you can kindly come on stage.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Preeta and Nindani, sir. So, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I hope that you enjoy the last few days in the JIS University and you have a very good interaction with the different respective department regarding your academic activity as well as the other related things, which is very, very important for your next few years of your journey based on your courses. So one of the important factor in JIS University is mentorship. So this mentorship program is mandatory to all of you, and it is mandatory for all of us as a mentor and mentee. Okay, and this is a very basic regulation by the UGC as well as the unique program of the JIS University to monitor each and everyone such a way that you can develop both in your personal aspect as well as your academic background. Okay, next. Now, one of the major important thing is that first you have to understand what is mentorship. Now, there are two important members in this mentorship. One is your mentor, another is your mentee. So, generally, when you enter in a new environment like in JIS University, so you have to adapt the whole situation. Okay, maybe you have a certain fear that how I can cope up the overall environment, cope up the subject and other things. So to help that, one mentor is assigned to you based on your designated department. Okay, and what is the important factor here? Factor is that mentor is guide you that how the process will be going on. What is the confusion you have in your subject related query, in your other things. Other things may be non-academic or any personal thing. Personal things means how we can means technical problem related to the app. Like we have a companion app of student which you have to operate by yourself, where everything is there. We call it as LMS, and there are certain things you have to follow through that systems. So that things is very important here. So that's why very important to know how these overall things will be actually going on. Next thing. Now, in case of mentorship, there are certain stages there. So it is maybe divided into 4 or divided into 5 different components. One is your initiation. Now this initiation process is very, very important. What is the initiation here? First we have to know each other. Okay, suppose I have assigned with 5 mentee. So I have to know from where they are come from. Okay, your background, your education process. Next is your the language you are in comfortable. Okay, so sometimes what happen in the class, we maybe the way of your educative language is your English, but some of you may not be comfortable in English. Maybe you are comfortable in native language, but you cannot say in the class. Okay, so you cannot say means in a bunch of people. So you are more comfortable in one-to-one discussion. So that case, that mentor is very important. Okay, so that is the very basic things, that initiation is a very important process, and that case you have to need to communicate with the mentors. So that is the very important thing. So this process of initiation, we actually build a relationship by setting a positive expectation. So what is a positive expectation? That you get some good or better communicative or informative answer from the mentor. Okay, so that is very important. Next is your cultivation. So cultivation means here that what are the things I can expect from a mentee as a mentor, and what are the things you expect from a mentor. Okay, so that is the very important thing. You have to understand that. So we cannot ask anything. So that is there are certain boundaries there. Okay, but there are certain things you can ask. Okay, which is related to your career, related to your other related activities. Okay, one of the important thing I observed initially that if someone is communicated to you, maybe you are little bit shy, but after 3 and 4 months later, your character is completely changed. Okay, completely changed. How? Because you are comfortable right now. You have a lot of friends, you contact different persons, you know everything, but you don't know all the things. That is the very important thing. Okay, so there are certain students who are in the bachelor students here. They are in masters, admitted in the master's degree. They have more knowledge than you, but they also don't know all the things. So that is the things you have to understand. That's why the cultivation part is very important. Next is separation. Separation means each and every one have a different and unique problem. Okay, so that things is very important. So you have to ask the mentor, you have told the mentor what is your problem. Suppose generally there are 2 important things we are mostly followed here. Number 1 is your behavior, number 2 is your result, which is important for your betterment of your career growth. Okay, so for that we are mostly give importance in attendance. Okay, why these things is important? Because in your brain, if you continuously communicate certain things, after a certain or few days later, you will realize that things is required for me. Okay, one of the very common example I can give you. How many of you know the name of your batchmate still now? কে নিজের ব্যাচে কতজনের নাম জানেন? কতজনের নাম? কজনের নাম জানেন? 4 জন, 5 জন? Not more than that. Maybe, but your batch have 100 people or 60 people or 50 people. So after 6 months, you are far more better positions. You know the name of the person, you know the place where he or she belongs from, you know what is the character of that person, how can I can communicate with that person. So that things is happen when you regularly communicate to each other. Okay, so that things is very important. You don't need in your mind to give a pressure that I have to remember all these things. Okay. In our case, that things is happened for your case also. It will be similar. Okay. Next is redefinition. Redefinition means that based on the separation process, everyone needs different type of mentorship. Someone need that I have a problem in English communication, so I have to improve that. How I can do that? Next, I have a mental issue, fearness. There are 2 or 3 people I meet during my academic professional life here that he actually first in his school, that here he continuously gets supply. The problem is that that person after first semester and second semester he is irregular in the university. He has a fear that সবাই আমাকে কি বলবে, I am the first boy in that school, but এখানে আমি হচ্ছে ফেল করে যাচ্ছি. So that is the problem. You have to understand that you cannot be first all the time, but you need some things. What are the problem you have to do that things? Okay, so that is the very major issue. Some of the people are think that এখানে সবসময় পড়াশোনা নিয়ে কথা বলা হচ্ছে. It is not like that. There are a lot of things is there. You have to participate, you have to communicate. So that separation is very important, and then redefinition is very important. So that are things. So next. So based on these 4 categories, we are actually focused individually on the mentor and mentee, that how we can separate each things. I am not elaborately given here because during the interactions with the mentor, you are more supposed to understand all these things. Okay. Next. So what is the basic objective here? First important thing is that environment of mutual trust between faculty and students. This is very, very important. So one of the common things you are doing is that you always not say the correct things to the mentor or teacher. Okay. এরকম অনেক হয়েছে, এটা হাসার কিছু নেই. We seen it that আমরা দাদু বা ঠাকুমাকে অনেকবার মেরে ফেলি. ঠিক আছে? We know that. আমার দাদুর শরীর খারাপ, আমার ঠাকুমা অসুস্থ, ঠিক আছে, আমার এই অসুস্থ. These things we know. So these tricks is not working here. Okay, so that things you have to understand. So that trust. So suppose someone is actually said in the first day of communication these things, and it is not true after a certain period of time, because we have much more experience than you. You understand the communication process, the eye reading, confidence. So that things it is not needed to train up separately. So it is automatically came to us for as a experience. So we understand that. So that trust is important. Okay, this is very, very important thing. So if you trust your mentor, if the mentor is trust you, some cases it is actually minimizes. Okay, some things is actually ignored. But if you don't, you already say the negative things, misleading information, so no one listen to you. So that trust is important. Next, encourage interaction among student and dissipate peer pressure. Means sometimes you understand that after to admit in any academic institute, first important thing came is the study and examination. This is the common thing in each and every semester, and you cannot ignore it. Okay, so that pressure in certain cases are huge for some people. Okay, suppose someone is supply in the first semester. Okay, so then in the second semester you think already that I may be fail in second semester. So that confidence level is low. So by the interaction, by the process of study, we can uplift that process. Next is to help students to efficiently manage their personal issue and interpersonal relationship. এখানে personal issue মানে হচ্ছে regarding obviously academic things, not any other things. Then you have to must understand that. Okay, there will be certain limit. Next, reduce stress and depression. This is a very common thing for nowadays you people. Okay, why? I personally feel this is because of less communication. We are more in the screen time rather than the one-to-one or group discussion or communications. Okay, And another important thing is that সবাই হচ্ছে মোটামুটি single child, so the pamperedness is much more for all of us or all of you. So the reality check is not happen in your life. So that is the very important thing which is needed in your life. Okay. Nowadays the competition is not so easy. There are a lot of different diversion is there. So you have to control all these things and you have to focus in your own goal. That is very important. Next. So what is the benefit? Benefit is offered by the program to mentee are related to their career development. This is a very important thing. Then enlightening their interest in research, inspire them to improve their academic performance. So these things is very very important. Now you can see in your life also or your senior if you have, when you enter in an institute, I can say my personal thing. I cannot communicate with people, mostly with the girls. I have a fear during my first year of my education. Okay, but after a certain stage or 2 to 3 years later, I realized that fear is completely gone. So communication problem is very important problem most of the person. Okay, so that things is very important in your life. Okay, so that's why you have to understand how we can improve it. Next, further help their emotional and reduce their stress by improving their relationship with mentors. So this is the very important part. Next, support system for students. Support system means that how you can improve yourself. Okay, there are sort of lot of smaller things is there. Okay, so that can be supported by us. Then empower the student with life skill. This is very important. Life skill means সবার একটা কমন প্রবলেম, স্যার টাইমই পাই না, সারাদিন 9:30 থেকে 5:30 কলেজে থাকি, বাড়ি চলে যেতে যেতে আর 1 ঘন্টা 1.5 ঘন্টা লেগে যায়, আমি টাইমই পাই না কিছু করার। So these things is common for all of us. So how we can manage it, that is the most important thing. Next. So these are the things I think we all know that. And already we have discussed that what are the things we needed: training, motivation, advice, success will become. Then you have to personally modify, initially state your goal and then modify your goal. Okay, so when you enter any course, your goal may be different. When you gradually understand the course, then your goal may be modified, varied, changed. Okay, so that things is there. Support is very important here. Coaching is also very important. So these things we have done here, and the complete direction. Suppose one of the important thing is that some of the people are more interested in marketing. Some of the people more interested in your teaching. Some of the people are more interested in research. So you may not be able to understand what is your choice. Okay, by the communications with the mentor, sometimes it was differentiated, it is separated, and then you can understand what is needed for you. Okay, so that things is very important. Next. So there are two important part here: the role of mentor and role of mentee. So both are responsible for this process. Okay, so first important thing as a faculty, what is the role of mentor? To build personal support with the students, act as a local guardian. This is very important part. So generally during the form fill up, you are filling up one local guardian. So they are the communicative local guardian with whom we are contact. Okay, but in the institute, if something is happened to you, means if there are certain indisciplinary action taken for you, then the mentor will be first communicated. Okay, so give me the report or like that. What is the status of that particular students? Okay, so that's why this is very important. Then support to help the tackle the academic, social and emotional issue. Next is your share expertise and experience. This is very important. So these things is very very needed to all of you actually. Next, encourage and motivate. We continuously do it here. So that is a very important part as a teacher. To do all the support to you. Next, you provide the guidance and support. As a mentee, this role is things is very important. Again, role of mentee however, just faculty open. First important thing is be open and you're receptive. Receptive means you have to confess that what are the things you are actually done, and you have to understand the communication done by the mentee, what a mentor, what you have to do. So that things is very important. Next, set goal and works towards them. So mentor give you some idea, some target. Now if you don't listen to him or her, then it is your fault. Okay? Maybe you can communicate, sir, this is not the things I can do. I want to do these things. So that communication you have done. No, there is no problem on that. But you have to understand your the interactions value. Next, ask question and seek feedback. So these things is very important. So if you not ask anything which is arise in your mind, okay, so then you cannot understand what are the answer of that question. So if certain things is not answered by mentor, he or she can communicate you by asking others, getting the information and then communicate to you. Or maybe he or she advise that you can communicate with that person. So that things is very important. Next. This is the mentoring tool, one-to-one, group, peer and online. Online is generally not communicate right now. Mostly we are follow the first three things. If you not available, then we are going with online or by phone call. Okay. Best practice is the clear expectation, set boundaries. This is very important. Okay. So you cannot do all the things. Then positive environment and flexibility. So all these things is important, and that things is done both by the mentor as well as by the mentor. Next. So this is the conclusion part. The powerful tool for this process is that mentoring can greatly impact in the student success, and the positive impact is follow guideline to make the difference. Now I will show you one form. Maybe the mentorship form is different in the different department, but we generally follow this type of things. Now, why this mentorship form is important? This form give us the information regarding your journey in the university. Okay. Now here, escape on. So this is the mentorship form in the Department of Pharmaceutical Technology. For other department, maybe they are same or little bit modified. Here, all the information you have to given. Okay, your program name, department, everything. Who is your mentor? Next is the student profile details. Now, one of the important factor here that we are asking for your marks. Okay, so that marks is defined to understand how you are growing. This is the one thing. It is not only the result or marks is not only the important parameter. There are other things is also there. Next. So here you can see the semester wise grade point. If you have any backlog, sometimes what happens, the student is not aware he or she has backlog. Okay, the student is not aware that he or she maybe go for year length. In some cases it will happen. We have to personally call them. This is the situation. So first things you have to understand your what are the loopholes you have, what are the things you have to know that. Now if you go for higher studies, that also may be tracked. Second or third important thing is that extracurricular activity. So that can also be part of here. Your training, workshop, everything is there. Okay. So you can, we can actually, it is not possible for some teacher to remember. Suppose 20 students are assigned for a mentor. It is not able to understand or remember all the information. So these type of forms give you the idea that what are the things we have done. That form is kept with the mentor, so we can track it. Okay, so that's all. so maybe depend on the department, the mentorship form is little bit different. Do not be confused on that part. But otherwise, it is a continuous process of improvement of your career growth, both academically and personally. So thank you all of you. Thank you for your patient listening. Over to you.
Thank you, sir, for such an enlightening session on mentorship program which we have in JIS University for all departments. Next up, we have a session on self-awareness. For that, I would like to call on stage Dr. Anindita Dey from the Department of English. Ma'am is going to tell you how important self-awareness is in our daily lives, not only in the university, but also as a practice in your own life. So, ma'am, over to you.
Hello, very good morning to you all. This is Dr. Anindita Dey. Dear first year students, welcome to college life. As you begin this new journey, you might be imagining a world like what you have seen in Bollywood movies, where college life seems to be a fusion of parties, fashion shows, romance, glamour, and endless fun. But let's take a moment to ground ourselves in reality. Of course, college is a time of new experiences and opportunities. You will make new friends. Apart from studies, you will participate in different extracurricular activities. You will have a lot of fun over the next 3 or 4 years, I'm sure. But at the same time, we need to remember that college life is a period of significant personal growth and self-discovery. So, as you step into this new phase of life, remember that your mental health is just as crucial as your grades and social life. Today we are here to address a topic of profound importance, mental awareness. In our time together, we will try to explore how to take care of our mental health and how to deal with stress and anxieties. So, everyone has moments when they feel completely hopeless. It is quite common among college students as well. I am not well prepared for exam. What if I fail? All my friends are going to ridicule me. Or, what if I don't get a good job after graduation? My parents will be so disappointed. Now, such issues are serious enough to make students feel hopeless about life. Hopelessness, it can lead to severe depression, anxiety, overthinking, insomnia, even suicidal thoughts. We lose faith in ourselves. This lack of confidence and negative self-talk, it makes us feel miserable and ruin our future prospects. So it is very important for us to know how to remain hopeful in an apparently hopeless world. For starters, let me give you some examples from mythology to show you that problems have always been a part of human experience. In the Ramayana, what we see, on the day of his coronation, Ram is leaving palace and he is going to forest for 14 years. Now imagine a situation where we are told that we will not get our family inheritance for years, or we are thrown into jail for no fault of ours. How would we feel? Here we should notice that Ram doesn't blame his father Dashrath, his brother Bharat, or his stepmother Kaikeyi. He gracefully accepts the situation. On the other hand, when his younger brother Lakshman comes to know about this, he gets angry, furious, he blames everyone, he verbally abuses Kaikeyi. As humans, we are more like Lakshman than Ram. So through these narratives, the narrators are trying to explain what the graceful reaction of hopelessness is. And at the same time, they are also presenting the more common human response to crisis. So what do we learn here? We learn that life is not a bed of roses, that we will have to deal with difficult situations. But we can always choose our response. In our response lies our power. Hopelessness has different effects on different people. We all know about Draupadi's Vastraharan episode. She was gunmed away by her husbands and dragged in public. Now after her molestation, Draupadi becomes furious, angry, full of revenge. She vows that she will not tie her hair until she can wash it with the blood of Dushashan. She believes that revenge will end her sense of sorrow. On the other hand, look at Sita. In the Uttarkanda of the Ramayana, when Ram abandons her, she is pregnant. She finds herself alone in a forest. How would you respond if your loved one abandons you when you are vulnerable? How do you react? How does Sita react to this situation? She gracefully accepts her fate. As a single mother, she raises her sons alone. She never takes any help from Ram. She never asks Ram to take her back. She is calm. She doesn't seek revenge. But being calm doesn't mean that you cannot stand up for yourself. Again, take the example of Sita. When Ram asks her to opt for a second Agni Pariksha, she chooses Patal Pravesh instead. This was a clear rejection against patriarchy. So what I'm trying to say here is that in life you will have to deal with difficult situations, but you will have to choose your response wisely, because every choice has its consequences. In Mahabharata, what we see, after Draupadi's molestation, the battle of Kurukshetra took place. Of course, the sinners, they got punished, but a lot of innocent people, they lost their lives as well. So was it right or wrong? It is very difficult to say, because what is right or what is wrong, that depends on our perspectives. So, why do we feel hopeless? We feel hopeless simply because we have hopes. And nowadays, everyone is selling hopes. The fitness expert is telling you, if you join gym, you will get a body like Hrithik Roshan. Dating apps are selling you the hope of true love. If you install Tinder, you will find your true match. The investment gurus are telling you, if you follow their programs, you will never have to worry about money. So everyone is trying to sell hopes, and we are being told that in future the world will become a better place. We are never told that the world is good here and now. Let me give you another example from Mahabharata in this context. So, during their forest exile, Krishna pays the Pandavas a visit. Now Draupadi is unable to offer him a decent meal. She gives him an empty bowl to show him how destitute she is now. But she was once a queen. But Krishna notices a grain of rice on the plate, and he happily. He focuses on what is present, not on what is absent. Similarly, if we can focus on what we have instead of always focusing on what we don't have, we can remain calm and stable. Probably some of you have heard the name JIS University. He is a motivational speaker. He compares the monkey mind with the monk mind in his teachings. Imagine your mind as a monkey, always jumping from one branch to another, jumping from one thought to another thought, never settling down. This monkey mind, it's a chaotic, restless state of mind. A monkey mind always overthinks, complains, gossips. A monkey mind is distracted by small things, does whatever feels good. On the other hand, the monk mind represents a calm and focused state of mind. A monk mind is peaceful, disciplined. So achieving a monk mind means training ourselves to control our mind. In order to achieve a monk mind, tell yourself a few things. That I can be calm in crisis. I can be happy even when I don't get what we want. I can be kind when someone is making a mistake. You see, we live in two worlds, an outer world and an inner world. The outer world means people and their behavior, situations, our relationships with them. Inner world means our thoughts, feelings, our emotions. So, we are programmed in this way. We try to create an outer world which functions completely the way we want. And we tell ourselves, when the outer world will be perfect, we will be happy. But is it really possible? There is an alternative, wiser approach to life. That is, tell yourself that our inner world is independent of the outer world. And that's how we start creating stability in our responses. Try to create pure thoughts. So, sometimes we often meet people who have huge emotional reaction to even a slight cold or fever. They magnify their illness by creating thoughts like, oh my God, this fever is killing me, this cold is terrible. On the other hand, we also come across individuals who are dealing with serious illness and yet they are stable. Think of the character of Rajesh Khanna in Anand and his iconic dialogue, Babu Mashai, Zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi. So every moment in our life should be cherished, right? So I will tell you a few things by practicing which you can remain calm and stable. First, practice gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. It can be your friends, family members, personal achievements, or even small joys in life like having ice cream on your cheat day. Second, self-care. Get 8 hours of sleep, exercise, eat proper food, go to shopping, use perfumes. Keep yourself happy. Read books, watch good movies. Also, foster positive relationships. Surround yourself with people who support you, motivate you, encourage you. And set realistic goals, both short-term and long-term goals. Do not set unrealistic goals like I am going to study 14 hours every day. Even you know that you are not going to do it. And of course, pursue your passion. If you like singing, dancing, theatre, anything, try to make little time to engage in activities that give you joy. And last but not the least, seek support wherever needed. If you are feeling blue, do not hesitate to talk to your friends or your family members. And if it's that serious, you can even talk to a psychiatrist. You are not a crazy person if you consult with a psychiatrist. Seeking support, it's a sign of strength, not not weakness. So I would like to conclude by telling you just one thing. Do not always just wait for the destination. Enjoy your journey. Enjoy the journey of life. Embrace every moment. I'm ending here today. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all a joyful and fulfilling life experience. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So after learning about self-awareness, which is of utmost importance in your life, I would like to call on stage Mr. Moina Gatto. He is going to tell you about the library facility of JIS University. Now, for our university, we have a central library, as well as for the Department of Pharmacy, we have a pharmacy library. So sir here is going to tell you elaborately how you can avail the beautiful library facility of JIS University. Sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Dear student, today we are here for the Library Orientation Program 2025 for I briefly present the library facilities of our university. Firstly, you can see the short overview about the library. JIS University Library is well equipped with modern facilities and resources in the form of online databases, resources. It developed a fully digital library equipped with necessary modern equipments, etc. Next. Okay. First of all, we know about the location of the library. JIS University has one central library which is located in first floor, room number 215, and then one separate departmental library, particularly pharmacy library. These are located in fourth floor, room number 519, and here we also have a spiritual library, that is first floor, room number 216. Now we'll take a look at the library objective. Here we mainly focus on Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's 5 laws of library science, which includes books are for use, every reader his or her book, every books its reader, save of the time of the reader, and the library is a growing organism. Based on these, the objectives of our library are developed. Next. We'll now see the opening and closing time of the library. The central library opens from Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. And closes at 6 p.m. On Saturdays, the library is open from 9:30 to 1:30 p.m. Library will be closed on Sundays and other holidays. Next. Okay. Now we'll take a look at the library rules and some regulations. Let's look at each point. Primarily, those that will be followed are must enter the library with identity card and enter the register. No bags, foods, or printed materials and are allowed in the library. And silence must be maintained in the library premises. Okay. Now about the library book issue and return procedure. UG students can issue a maximum number of 3 books, and PG students issue maximum number of 4 books for 15 days, and a fine will be 5 rupees per day per book, and damaged or lost books will be compensated with the same or new edition books. Okay, next.
We have over more 20,000 printed books and columns. This was included printed journals, magazines, newspapers, electronic resources, etc. Okay, next. Now we'll take a look at the library services. Yes. We have open access facility in the library, and also we have an OPAC system, online public access catalog, which through you can know about the library collection. Okay. Now finally we'll take a look at some pictures of the library. Oh, thank you.
So the way you were interested in the explication of the library services, I could really understand that you will eventually find your way to the library at the end of your academic program to get clearance. This is a roundabout way of saying that nobody was listening. But the library facilities and the library access is very important. We move forward to the next session. So our next session is on grievance redressal in university, and for that, to speak on that issue, we have a very esteemed guest present among us, Justice Someresh Prasad Chaudhary. The topic of this session is role of ombudsman and grievance redressal in university. Sir, with your permission, may I now kindly request you to be on the stage. A big round of applause for Justice Someresh Prasad Chaudhary.
Before sir starts, one small thing. This is the information I think for all the students who are sitting over here. Whether you are belonging to pharmacy or computer science engineering or the different science streams or law or management or whatever, the fact that Justice Someresh Prasad Chaudhary, sir, is the common ombudsman of the entire university. I mean, it's not in the context of any particular department. And today's entire session is actually going to deal with you in respect of how to actually utilize grievance redressal within the university. All of you are new, and grievance can come from any particular sector, any particular group of students. Where to go, what is the committee, what is the body, and in case your grievances are not being redressed, not being addressed, then who is the person before whom you are supposed to go? Here is the person. So we previously had this grievance redressal session in the law department, but the idea is not to actually have it across only the law section of students. It's to have the idea across all the different sections. So I leave it to sir.
No, before that, may now request Dr. Anindita De, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to kindly felicitate sir with a small token of appreciation, sir, from our side. A big round of applause for a small token of appreciation for the person of JIS University. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here. Over to you, sir, for the session on grievance redressal.
morning, all my dear students, the new entrants in this university. Most welcome to this university. You are, as I have just come to know that you are from different, you have taken admission in different branches. So, being ombudsman, I shall not be confined to any particular department. I am ombudsman means ombudsman of the university. Because you know, this time you have admitted in a university. It is a university. That university, do you know how many universities are there in West Bengal? There are 40 universities. One central university, that is Vishwabharati University. There are another 27 universities, which are state universities, and 12 deemed universities. So altogether there are 40 equal in this way. Just I have seen from Press Information Bureau that in the month of June 2025, there are 1,338 universities, which are recognized by the University Grants Commission. Now, this management, how can this management will be done? There are so many universities are there, so the modalities should be framed. So unless there is a modalities, how the university will run? So for this purpose, after independence, a committee was formed. You know, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was under the chairmanship. Subsequently, Dr. Radhakrishnan submitted a report to that effect. Ultimately, University Grants Commission 1956 was formed. I mean, an act was enacted in the parliament. It is called University Grants Commission Act 1956. So, this is the genesis of the institutions, how the universities of our country will be controlled, or how academics of the universities will be framed and curriculum and other activities will be done. So, University Grants Commission, now University Grants Commission being a statutory body, an act passed by Union Parliament has acquired the right to form rules and regulations to maintain the university in its defined way. So, therefore, see, it was not in there. So long there was different regulations or rules relating to action against wrongdoing of students, But here, there is a clear departure in the year 2023. Now a regulation has come into effect, which is called University Grants Commission Redressal of Grievances of Students 2020. It means earlier the university had opportunity to take action whenever a student is in fault. But this time, the students are getting an opportunity to ventilate their grievances so that a better environment or a better atmosphere may be created in the university. আমি কি বললাম আপনারা বুঝতে পেরেছেন তো? আমি বলতে চেয়েছি 1956 এ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় গ্র্যান্ট কমিশন একটা আইন আনে সেন্ট্রাল পার্লামেন্টে, তার বেসিসে বিভিন্ন বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় কিভাবে চলবে, হাউ ইউনিভার্সিটি উইল রান, হাউ দ্য কারিকুলাম উইল বি ফ্রেমড, হাউ দ্য প্রসিডিওর অর সাবজেক্ট উইল বি অ্যাডেড ইন এ পার্টিকুলার সাবজেক্ট, এই বিষয়গুলো ওখানে ঠিক হয়েছিল। In any case, ever a new chapter. Now a new chapter has opened, a new era in Indian education system. That is, in 2023, a regulation has been framed that is called University Grants Commission Redress of Grievances of Students Regulation 2023. Now, what is happening? What is the object of this regulation? What is the object of this regulation? That is very important. Object to provide opportunities to the students. To whom? To the students. To provide opportunity to the students to highlight their grievances in case of any deficiency on the part of education by the university. Here another thing is important. Not only the students, but a student who is interested to get admission to a particular institution may also ventilate his or her grievances through the modalities prescribed by this regulation. Understand? Here lies a big difference. Earlier you see, there was an Anti-Ragging Act. In case of ragging by the students, then university had the opportunity to take action. That is still in existence. But at the same time, students are getting a rider. By this, students, in case of deficiency in their education, in case of any deficiency on the part of university, to give different things like prospectus, like cut-off marks, in everywhere. Wherever there is any lacuna on the part of university, the student may ventilate his grievances. So many reasons are there for raising grievances. Grievances means, what is grievance? Grievance means an aggrieved person may lodge a complaint. What is complaint? Complaint means a complaint and application where you will express your grievances to the university. Where is the portal? There is a portal in the university. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? There is a portal. In the if you go to the website, you will get a portal. Where in portal there is a format of grievances. By that you may lodge any complaint to the university. Then university will refer to students' grievances redressal committee. There is a students' grievances redressal committee in each university after enactment of this regulation in 2023. In your university, I mean in this university, there is also a committee. That is a committee, that is students' grievances redressal committee. It consists of 6 members. You know, Professor Shomil is now lead this committee, and there are so many other members of this. One Professor Dharampal Singh, he HOD Department of CEC, Professor Reena Bhattacharjee, HOD Department of Physics, Dr. Indranil Muksuddi, HOD Management Studies, Dr. Shobhit Chatterjee, HOD Department of Juridical Science, and Dilip Kumar Roy, Associate Professor Pharmacy. Apart from them, under the regulation, one student representative must be there. In view of the same, Mr. Shamrat Shamadar, who is a student of Juridical Science, 5th year, has been inducted as a member, and he is also a member, student representative. His special category is that he is student representative. Whenever any such situation will arise, that yes, you have some grievances, you may inform the university in portal, then in turn, university will refer the matter to SGRC, and SGRC will try to solve it within 15 days from the date of receipt of the complaint. If it is not solved within the time frame, then you will get an opportunity to prefer an appeal before ombudsperson. I am that ombudsperson. My role is that whenever any grievances is not resolved by the university, then you may approach the ombudsperson, and in that case, I am under obligation to decide and dispose it within 30 days. Okay, this is another important aspect. Now, when you can raise this point, the question, when this kind of grievances will arise, there are several reasons, and it has been spelled out in the regulations. If you go to the regulations, you will get it, that how every institution shall function in accordance with the regulations. Mandatory publication of prospectus, contents, pricing, all these things should be given in the brochure. Suppose if there was cut mark of 47%, after entrance examination, cut mark 47. If any student gets chance on receiving, after getting 46%, certainly a person who, a student who will be deprived of getting admission may raise his voice. It is his grievance. That is a genuine grievance. This is a genuine grievance. So students have the authority to raise their grievances to the university for solve to ventilate their grievances, and if it remains unresolved, then he may approach to ombudsperson for resolving. The regulation apply to all central, state and deemed universities, to everyone. This is not for any specific subject or any specific department. It applies to all the universities of India, be that may be central, state or deemed university. Understand? Now, definition, so far as definition of grievances is concerned, the grievance of a student may complain from a student concerning academic or non-academic matters. It may be academic, may be non-academic. A conduct antecedent of a student, if appears bad, you may lodge a complaint. And if you have grievances that classes are not attended by the teacher properly, you may also lodge a complaint. If you think that you have not obtained proper marks, then also you may lodge a complaint. There are several plethora of yardstick for which you may lodge a complaint. If you go through the regulation, I request to all of you, please have a look to the regulations on the portal, it is there. Or if you check it, you will get it. The University Grants Commission, redressal of grievances of students, because it is a power given to you so that you may not be deprived in any way from getting proper materials from the universities or the proper teaching from the university. So in this way, to protect your right, it is very important. Understand? It is very important. So don't forget to avail the opportunities whenever it will be required. So what is the purpose? What is the purpose of this regulation? Why this regulation has been changed? Why? Because to ensure a fair, transparent and effective mechanism, to ensure a fair, transparent and effective mechanism in the university, it requires, because education is such a thing where there is any scope to show any partiality. Teachers are doing hard, but it may so happen that still you will feel there is a lacuna. So, to ensure a fair, impartial education, so this grievances redressal forum has been created. So, given and it is ensured that the quality of education may not hamper in any way. Quality of education is also another point that should not be hampered in any way, for which you may lodge your grievances. Example of grievance. What are the examples? There are so many examples of the grievances. Issues, sharing submission of process, irregularities. Suppose if there is any irregularity, how irregularities may arise in the university. Irregularities may so many reasons there may be irregularities. See, suppose the list of program study and courses offered along with broad outlines, if it is not followed, then it is a grievance. Suppose there are 9 chapters in a syllabus. Suppose 8 chapter has been read out, but 1 chapter still left open, then it may also be your grievances. Because in future, after passing the examination, after passing out from the university, when you will appear in any competitive examination, you have to be well equipped with your entire book. By pick and choose, you may pass in the examination, but ultimately, whenever you will sit in the competitive examination, you have to go through the entire material. So, please see that entire material is placed before you, and you have not been deprived of getting proper teaching from the institution. It should be looked upon. See, suppose university has taken from you so many documents at the time of admission, but it has not been returned for many reasons, even for not payment of fees. Then it is also grievance. It may also be a reason for grievance on the part of you. You may also lodge a complaint by filing a complaint in your portal. So there are so many details of the teaching. Suppose some name of teaching staff has been given, but you have seen that out of 9, only 6 are there, and the persons by attractive movement to admission, he is not there. Then it is also a grievance. So it is a very important thing. So you please take care of. And one thing you must it must be within your notice that every university is under compulsion to give the portal about the complaint, how it is to be filed. If you file a complaint, then SGRC will take care of, and thereafter, if you are not satisfied, you will prepare an appeal. If the grievances not resolved by students, grievances adjustment committee, I think students grievances SGRC, if it is not within 15 days, then you may prefer an appeal before the ombudsman of the university. Understand? That is the important. The institution will comply with all the recommendations of ombudsperson. That even if any recommendation is made by ombudsperson, I am the ombudsperson. If any recommendation is made by me, that it is binding upon the university to follow it. So it shall comply. If there is hardly any reason not comply with this. What is the information? An institution shall furnish prominently in its website, news prospectus, all relevant information. The university is under obligation to publish or furnish prominently all the matters related to the students' demands in the sub-committee. Okay, so this is very important aspect of the program. So what I do like to suggest you today, I don't like to make you cumbersome. You have new entrants. Just you have come from different schools or colleges to take admission here. So on the first day, just I am introducing you. Just chalk out a map. How there is I intend to tell you that there is a law. That law is giving you an ample opportunity to take part in the university in a proper way, and if there is any shortcoming, then you may take a course of law. How you take it? It was not there earlier. Just 2023, this regulation has come into force, and this regulation is very important. You know, few days back, a online meeting was held. Then University Grants Commission Chairman was there. I was also present there. I represent the JIS University. Then several questions came up. Now, one point has come up that whether there is any complaint in JIS University. Then I tell no, there was one complaint. So far I have heard, SGRC has resolved it. If it is SGRC resolved, then it's all right. The object is to resolve the dispute. Because we must remember that it is an institution which imparting education. So here a congenial atmosphere should be created, and it should be seen that the matter is resolved. Matter is resolved as early as quickly possible. It is very well that it is very heartening that SGRC has resolved the dispute in its own way, because we have to resolve it for the purpose of better academics, better academic situation and environment in the university. So it is the basic object of these grievances that it should be resolved. How it is resolved, how it will be resolved, that is important. You may have grievances. You please see the portal and you will know what are the kinds of grievances for which you may highlight your case. But one thing keep it in mind. Don't make any false or vexatious complaint, because in that case you may suffer, because there is hardly any scope to file any false and because it is universities, prestige is involved, teachers and administration all are involved there. So all are trying their level best to give proper education. But if you have any grievances or post-secondary grievances, you will approach. But don't make any false or vexatious complaint which may erode the prestige or dignity of the institution. So being a part and parcel of the institution, I will request you to take care of this so that for lame excuse, don't approach the SGRC, try to resolve it. If it is, of course you will find it because it is right, it has been given to you. But it should be seen that it is exercised in a right way, not in a wrong way. Okay, that is very important. So if you take any wrong course of action, then for contrary you may be punished. If any appeal comes before me, and if if I find that yes, the student itself has done anything wrong, then of course I will have to write in my order. The university will take action against it. So whenever you will file any complaint in your portal, you will see that it is filed, it is justified. At least prima facie case is there. I don't say that it has to be proved. No. Anything or anything can be proved later on. It is something different. But there may be prima facie case. I mean, a prima is satisfactory. Your conscience is satisfaction. My conscience is satisfied that yes, it is the proper grievance. I will ventilate my grievance in the university. So then you lodge a complaint in the portal. Then it is the duty of the university to refer to the SGRC. And SGRC will resolve within 15 days. If it is not resolved, then you will approach the ombudsperson. Ombudsperson is under obligation to dispose of it within 30 days. And if it is required, you see, being an ombudsman, I am telling you, if any complaint ultimately comes to me, if I think that is the subject matter it is subject matter relates to physics department, I have legal knowledge in physics. Then I may appoint an amicus curiae. Do you know amicus curiae? Friend of court. Amicus curiae means friends of court. Who is a friend? I may appoint amicus curiae, a professor of physics department to ascertain what has happened. I may take opinion. Then I will pass order. So whenever you will pass, you will write any complaint, you please be careful that yes, it is a genuine grievance, but it is not a grievance based on falsity. Okay, this is very important. So on the first day, I would like to make the matter elaborate so that you may confuse. I just try to impress that yes, there was no such law, students had no law, all the facilities were given to university, there was an anti-ragging act by which university has the opportunity to take action against the student. Still that is there. If you do anything wrong, of course, university will take action against you. But at the same time, if a student has genuine grievances, that has also to be redressed. That has also to be redressed because students are also part and parcel of the university. Keeping all this in mind, the University Grants Commission thought that yes, a regulation is required to be framed, where the students will get opportunity to ventilate their genuine grievances so that they got better education. There may be better education. They may not be deprived of getting proper education. Suppose there are name of 10 teachers, important. But you see, 6 teachers are there, 4 teachers are not coming. It is your grievances. Even you see if there is discrimination in marking, then you may also approach the SGRC. But you see that it is here that there is a discrimination that has been done so far as marking is given by a teacher. Yes, it is of course right. Of course right. So apart from academic, non-academic your behavior pattern. Suppose a student, he has come with a dress which is uncalled for. You tell him, don't come in this way. University may tell him, but he thinks something which is not obscene dress. So it may cause some disturbance in your mind. You think it is not proper. It cannot be a formal dress. So then you may also raise your grievances. It is a non-academic grievances. So it may be applicable to academic and also non-academic. So you have sufficient scope as a student. Earlier there was no such, at our time we had no scope. But this kind of scope has been given to you, so you please avail it. I must request you that don't forget that there is a handy matter before you, that is University Grants Commission, Redressal of Grievances Regulation 2023, which had hitherto was unknown to us, At our time there was no such scope, but you are getting a scope. So please, whenever your parents have admitted here, after spending so much money, you avail it and you take better education and prepare your future life and build up your prospect so that you may not only flourish yourself, you may flourish your relatives nearby and the entire society. We are living here in this world not for my alone. You are not living here for us. We are collectively living here to create a better society. Being a student, I will request you to proceed in that way so that one day your family, your relative, or your neighbors, and more better, the country may feel good for you. See, this is my, that's all. If you have any question, you may put to me, I will give answer. If you have any query, I mean, you are newcomer, you may not know the law, you may not know the procedure. Still, if you have any query, you may tell me so far as students, University Grants Commission, Redressal of Grievances Act. Have you anything to say? আপনাদের কি কারো কিছু তোমাদের কি কিছু বলার আছে এই বিষয়ে? কেউ কিছু বলার আছে হলে যারা আছেন? আমি আবার বলছি যে ইউনিভার্সিটি ভারতবর্ষে 1338টি ইউনিভার্সিটি আছে। এই ইউনিভার্সিটিগুলোকে পরিচালিত করার জন্য ইউনিভার্সিটি গ্র্যান্টস কমিশন অ্যাক্ট একটা আছে 1956-এ। এই অ্যাক্ট যেহেতু একটা স্ট্যাটুটারি অ্যাক্ট, অর্থাৎ বিধিবদ্ধ আইন, সংসদে পাস করায়, সেই জন্য ইউনিভার্সিটি কিছু রুলস অ্যান্ড রেগুলেশন ফ্রেম করতে পারে যাতে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়গুলো সুচারুরূপে পরিচালিত করা যায়। এবং এই পরিচালনা করতে গিয়ে ইউনিভার্সিটি গ্র্যান্টস কমিশন অর্থাৎ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় মঞ্জুরি কমিশন তারা মনে করেছে যে সব আইনি তো শিক্ষকদের বা ইনস্টিটিউশনের পক্ষে আছে, ইনস্টিটিউশনের শিক্ষকদের পক্ষে নয়, ইনস্টিটিউশনের পক্ষে আছে যে কোনো কারণে কোনো র্যাগিং বা কোনো কিছু হলে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় অত্যাচার করতে পারে, ছাত্ররা যদি পড়াশোনা ঠিক করে না করে তার অ্যাকশন নিতে পারে, রাস্ট্রিকেট করতে পারে, ট্রান্সফার করে দিতে পারে, এই সমস্ত সবই তো বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের হাতে আছে। কিন্তু অনেক ক্ষেত্রে তো ছাত্ররা সৎ পথে থেকেও হতে পারে, বিপদমুখী হতে পারে, বিপদের সম্মুখীন হতে পারে। সেই জন্য বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের মঞ্জুরি কমিশন এই বিষয়টা চিন্তা করেছে যে সঠিক দ্যাট ইয়েস a rule regulation is required to be framed to protect the students for their genuine grievances, যাতে স্টুডেন্টদের প্রকৃত যে অভিযোগ সেটা যাতে তারা তুলে ধরতে পারে এবং সেটার প্রতিকার করতে পারে। সেই প্রতিকার কি করে পাবে? সেই প্রতিকার পাওয়ার জন্য they have to go to the portal and to see যে কি কি গ্রিভান্সেস সেখানে দেওয়া আছে, যেটার বিরুদ্ধে আমি বলতে পারি। অনেক কিছু আছে এবং আমি সেটা দুভাগে বিভক্ত করেছি। একটা একাডেমিক সাইডও হতে পারে, একটা নন একাডেমিক সাইডও হতে পারে। যদি কোনো কারণে গ্রিভান্স হয় জেনে নেবেন, শিক্ষককে বলবেন বা আপনার যাদের সিনিয়র স্টুডেন্টদের বলবেন, জেনে নেবেন। নিয়ে যদি মনে করেন হ্যাঁ ইয়েস ইট ইজ জেনুইন গ্রিভান্স, আপনারা কোনো হেজিটেটই করবেন না। ইফ ইউর কনসার্নস, আপনার বিবেক যদি বলে ঠিক তো সব ঠিক, বিবেকের চাইতে বড়। সুতরাং আপনার কনসার্নসকে আপনি জিজ্ঞেস করুন যে আপনি যে অভিযোগটা আনছেন অভিযোগটা ঠিক কিনা। আপনার যদি মনে হয় ঠিক, আপনি মনে করলে ঠিক, অনেককে মনে করলে দরকার নেই। আপনি যদি মনে করেন ঠিক তাহলে ঠিক আছে, গ্রিভান্স করুন। সেটা স্টুডেন্টস গ্রিভান্স রেড্রেসাল কমিটি আছে, তারা মেটানোর চেষ্টা করবে, কনসিস্টিং অফ 6 মেম্বার্স। তাতে প্রফেসর আছেন 4 জন, আরও প্রফেসর 5 জন, আর একজন আপনাদের ছাত্র প্রতিনিধি আছে সম্রাট। সম্রাট সি ইজ দ্য স্টুডেন্ট। আপনারা মেটাবেন এইভাবে। প্লিজ ট্রাই টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দ্য regulation and go through it and apply it whenever it is necessary. আমি আবার এটাই রিকোয়েস্ট করবো এবং আরেকটা সর্বশেষে বলবো যে এমন কোনো ডোন্ট make any complaint which may harass any teacher, which may harass any university staff, or else by which none will be benefited, only it will malign the university and in turn you may create some trouble. So don't do this, but in case of a genuine grievance, what is genuine? In case of a academic, you are not getting proper teaching, you have been deprived of getting proper marks, you have not properly evaluated. If university is taking a higher fee than what has been prescribed, all these are your grievances. Of course you may take these kind of grievances and highlight it. So I complete my delivery today on the ground by elucidating all the points which are required for the very beginning of the starting of your career or as a student of this institution. তবু আমি বলছি যদি আপনাদের কারো কোনো মনে সামান্য কিছু বলার থাকে আপনারা বলতে পারেন, আমি আপনাদের উত্তর দেবো। হ্যাঁ, যদি পারি আমরা নিশ্চয়ই উত্তর দেবো। আর one thing minded, education is nobody's monopoly, it should be kept in mind. Education is, there are so many fields where I have to learn from you. Education is nobody's monopoly, এটা মনে রাখবেন সবসময়। এডুকেশনটা এমন একটা জিনিস, সেটা কারো অ্যাকচুয়ালি আলো কার কি আছে তার থেকে অনেক কিছু, অনেকের থেকে অনেক কিছু শেখার থাকে। সেই জন্য আপনারা ফিল ফ্রি, ইফ ইউ হ্যাভ এনি কোশ্চেন অর কোয়ারি অ্যাবাউট University Grants Commission regulation of grievances of students. This is a new law which was not there in 2003, it has come into force on the basis of strength given to University Grants Commission Act 1956 to the University Grants Commission, and University Grants Commission framed this regulation considering the grievances of the nowadays of the students for getting it may be academic, non-academic, whatever it may be. Please go through the portal and go through the regulation which is available on our website and apply it in accordance with your procedure or in accordance with your capacity or any other thing else. Okay, thank you. Any other query? If you have any query, you may ask me. No problem. No query. Okay, thank you. Next time I will meet you again. And okay, thank you.
Students, please sit down. The bag distribution has been stopped. The bag distribution has been stopped for now, so please sit down. You will not be getting the bags right now. So there is no point in leaving this auditorium. It will resume once the program here ends. So you can go after the program. To end the day on a very good note, we have our last session of today, that is on universal human values. When we say universal, we mean values that go beyond culture, religion, language, or nationality. They are the values that connect all of us as human beings. Values such as truth, respect, love, compassion, honesty, responsibility, and harmony. Why are these important for our students, for future professionalism? Because knowledge without values can never lead to true success. A brilliant mind without compassion can create harm. But a balanced mind with values can create a better world. Think of it this way, our education teaches us how to make a living, but our values teach us how to make a life. Universal human values remind us to respect ourselves and others, act with integrity, to be kind and empathetic, take responsibility for our actions and choices, live in harmony with nature and its society. In this note, I would like to call on stage our very special guest of today, Dr. Vibhuti Das. Sir will be giving a speech on universal human values. To felicitate Sir, I would like to call Dr. Dipankar Mishra, Dean of Student and Alumni Affairs, to kindly come up and felicitate Dr. Vibhuti Das. Sir. Now we will all listen to Sir.
Dean, Student Affairs, faculty, and my dear students. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this interaction. I'm supposed to speak about universal human values and ethics. Now, what is the big deal? What is this big deal about ethics? Right from childhood, your parents must have kept telling you, do good, be good. Your teachers also must have kept telling you the same thing, be a good human being, do good things. So, what's so big? Why is it that I have been inflicted upon you for half an hour? Why is it that some of you in some of the courses, I don't know whether there are any management students or engineering or medical students here, some of you might be doing full courses of 20 hours or 30 hours on ethics. What is so big? You just say be good, do good, and that's it. Be done with it. Why it is complicated is because of three reasons. First of all, sometimes it is very difficult. It is actually not very feasible to be ethical in the real world. Second reason is saying be good, do good is okay. It sounds very simple. Sometimes it's very difficult to know what is good. And third problem is, many of the times throughout your life, in your personal life as well as your professional life or whatever calling that you join, you will be faced with a lot of choices. It is very difficult to choose the right thing because the different choices have different impacts, different implications, very real implications for a lot of people and also for yourself. Let's look at them one by one. When I started my career in the Indian Police Service, I was made to join something called a foundation course, which starts at Missouri. That is for 3 months, which is common to all the Central and Group A services, IAS, IPS, Indian Foreign Service, all the central services. So the ethics lecture, human values and ethics lecture was given to us by the then director of the academy there, who was a very senior IAS officer on the verge of retirement. He said something very interesting. He said, ethics is an absolute thing. You are either ethical or you are unethical. Like marriage. You are either married or you are not married. You can't be just a little married. Okay? It is black and white. Now this kind of absolutist kind of formulation, is it possible? Is it possible to go through life with either being ethical or being unethical? Suppose tomorrow you join my profession. Suppose you are a cop and the entire criminal justice system is completely vitiated and completely unethical. Suppose all the judges, all the cops, all the prosecutors, they are all corrupt. Is it possible for you alone to stand there and say, Ami Harishchandra Chele, Raja Harishchandra Chele, I will not do anything wrong, I will not allow anything to do anything wrong? What will happen? What will happen is, the system will crush you. The system will try and grind you to dust. You will be lurching from insignificant posting to insignificant posting. Whatever little good you could have done would not take place, because you would not be given that power or the authority or the wherewithal to do anything good in the society. In such a situation, it's not always so, but in such a situation where your surrounding and your environment is too overwhelming and it is vitiated by lack of ethics, it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay to be like a bull in a china shop, because it will be counterproductive. Neither that you will neither be able to do anything good, meanwhile you will get crushed and it will become much worse than otherwise. In such a case, it makes sense not to have this kind of an absolutist kind of paradigm. It makes sense to have a gradualist kind of approach. That is, you retain your moral fiber, you retain your moral bearings, go into the system and try and do it gradually. So, every single day you try and approach to that ideal in a limited extent. A lot of good has taken place in life and in the world through the efforts of small people like you and me. Do not give up hope even when the system is very overwhelming for you. That is point number one. When it is not very feasible, don't try to make an absolutist approach. Try and do an incremental, gradualist kind of approach. Okay? Second is, what did I say? Second, I said it is sometimes very difficult to make out what is good. Okay? Some of you, when you will be doing your courses in ethics, you'll be taught a lot of theories in ethics. One of the oldest and very popular theories of ethics, which you will be exposed to right at the beginning, would be something called consequentialism. In simple terms, it means trying for the greatest good of the greatest number. That is, you try to maximize utility, you try to see that through your action, maximum benefits accrue to maximum number of people. Sounds very simple, doesn't sound very difficult, but look at the kind of problems that happen when you try to implement it blindly. I'll give you one example. Suppose there has been a very bad road accident, and 3 of the victims of the road accident have been wheeled in to an emergency ward of a hospital. One of them needs a heart transplant immediately, otherwise he will die. The second person would need his liver to be replaced urgently, otherwise he will no longer be for this world. And the third person requires a kidney transplant, otherwise he will pass away. Meanwhile, there is a young, otherwise healthy adult who has come to the OPD with a minor cold and a small fever. He is waiting for a prescription. Now, a nurse who is very well steeped in consequentialism theory of maximizing utility, he goes up to the doctor and whispers in his ear saying, "Doctor, let's do one thing. Let's kill that guy in the OPD, take out his heart and liver and kidney and transplant them into these 3 patients. Okay? We lose 1 patient, but we'll gain 3. Now, would most of you or any of you agree with this recommendation? When I put it to my ethics classes, most of the students not only disagree with it, they react to it with a lot of revulsion. Now, why is that? As far as consequentialism theory is concerned, it fits in with the theory. You are actually maximizing the utility, such as it is. So why is it that people react with so much of revulsion? এত ঘৃণা লাগে কেন এই সাজেশনটা শুনে? Why it happens is the reasoning of the people here is not based on utility. That reasoning is based on a sense of justice. When I ask people, why are you revolting against this, they are not able to articulate it. They are not able to say it in so many words. But deep within, they are feeling that it is something very unjust. For the person who has come to the OPD with a minor problem, there has been no fault of his. He has not been in an accident. He has not signed up to sacrifice his life so that 3 other lives will be saved. What right does this doctor or the nurse have to take his life in their hands? Okay? So, whenever you are faced with a situation, ethical situation in life, and you are armed with all these theories, rather than applying it blindly, better take a moment to see what is the basis on which you should react and what is the basis of the theory that you are handling. If only they align, that theory is applicable, otherwise it is not applicable. Maybe some other theory is applicable. Are we clear so far? Yes, no, anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Making sense?
Yes.
Let's take a second example. Most of you must have traveled by trains.
Yes.
So what happens? There is a main line on which the train moves. When any train is supposed to stop at a railway station, it is diverted to a loop line just before the station comes. It comes to the platform, people get in and get down, and then it is taken back to the main line and it carries on its way. Clear? Suppose one day a train has approached the station. There is a linesman who throws a switch just before the station. He sits at a high altitude and he throws a switch and the train gets diverted to the loop line. Okay? He is about to throw the switch when he finds that there are 3 people loitering around on the loop line. Okay? These people আড্ডা মারছে ওখানে, so they think ki train এখন time আছে, তার আগে আমরা বেরিয়ে যাব. They do not know that the train has already approached and the linesman has to take a decision very quickly. He is not able to attract their attention through whistling and all. Even if he stops the train immediately, the train will take some time to stop. It can't stop on the second. So it will run over these people if he puts it on the loop line. Should he still divert it to the loop line or should he keep it on the main line and let it stop when it stops?
Main line.
I think it's very simple. He should not divert it to the loop line. We should keep it on the main line so that these 3 lives are saved. But suppose at the same time, he sees a railway staff who is on the main line doing some repair work. Now, he knows and his supervisors know that the train will be diverted to the loop line. So he has no risk. That is what he thinks. That is what the supervisors also think. The work is very urgent, so he has to carry it out, and he is going about his business in a legitimate fashion. Now when I put this question, most of the people, again the ratio is 3:1, 3 lives versus 1 life. Most of the students, most of the other audiences, when I talk to them about this, they again say that no, then let it go on the loop line, because what is the fault of that railway person? He is on legitimate work. These jokers should not be there on the platform, loop line. If they have to do adda, let them go to some tea stall. চা দোকান প্রচুর আছে ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গলে, ওখানে আড্ডা করবে, এখানে কেন করছে? Again, they are fairly certain about their decision. But look at what happens when I play around with the numbers. Suppose I say, no, not 3 people, but there are 10 people on the loop line. Now some of the people are very certain that it should be put on the loop line. They start rethinking. Some of them change their minds, and they say, no, if 10 lives are at stake, maybe the train should not be diverted to the loop line. Let it go on the main line, and let's hope for the best that the railway staff will be saved. Okay? Still, some people believe that it should be put on the loop line. As I keep increasing the number, when I say 20, there are 20 people on the loop line, vis-a-vis that 1 person on the main line. Some more people switch over saying, look, let it not be put on the loop line. As I increase the number to more and more, when it goes to 100 or something because of some festival nearby, then many people, most of the people now have switched their opinion and say, let it go on the loop line, let 100 people be saved. Point I'm trying to make is, most theories of social sciences and almost all theories of ethics and human values, etc., they operate in a context. Okay? Something which is applicable here and now may not be applicable there and then or tomorrow. Okay? Whenever you are faced with a situation, try and look at the context, look at the broader context. Maybe if you have more information, you might have to revise your opinion and assumptions and your decisions. Okay? Another problem that obtains by deciding what is good is, there are a few things which are legal but not ethical. Is it possible that something is legal but not ethical? Let me give you an example from my life. When I started my career, first posting usually is subdivisional police officer. I was subdivisional police officer at a place called Alipurdwar, and that is slightly rural area, tea garden belt, and there were a lot of rape cases there. And I used to be very strict about crimes against women. So anytime there was a rape case or other cases of crimes against women, I used to ensure that the culprit is not only arrested immediately, but the full might of the law should visit upon him. Okay? Which was all right. But what happens sometimes in rape cases is, even in urban areas and probably more so in rural areas, after the hue and cry has died down, there is some amount of attempt at compromise and negotiation between the two parties, and sometimes, not always, sometimes it results in a marriage between the accused person and the victim. Once that happens, there's a lot of pressure on the police to go light on the case or kill it and things like that. But I used to put my foot down. I used to say, no, rape is a very heinous crime. If a person has been guilty of rape, he should face the consequences to the maximum possible. Okay? One day my inspector, local inspector, came to me, police inspector, and he had been my training inspector also, because that was my training district, and he sought my permission to speak his mind. So I said, yeah, please go ahead. So So he said, sir, what you are doing, আপনি যেটা করছেন, legally it is the absolutely correct thing you are doing. কিন্তু দেখেন যোগফলটা কি হচ্ছে, ওই যে মেয়েটা অথবা মহিলাটা আছে, ও তো স্টিগমাটাইজ হয়ে গেছে সারা জীবন জন্য, ও পাত্র পাবে না, she will have great difficulty in finding a bridegroom, she or her family. Meanwhile, there is that small ray of hope that she has seen for having a somewhat normal household is also disappearing if the husband যদি কোর্ট কচেরি চক্কর কাটে প্লাস 7 বছর সাজা জন্য যায় জেলে, তারপরে তো আর সংসার থাকলো না, সংসারটা তো ভেঙে যাচ্ছে। That night I had a very uneasy sleep. I kept thinking about whether what I was doing was right or wrong. I will not tell you the decision. Everyone has to take his own decision in ethical situations. But I'm just exposing you to a situation where the letter of the law may not be sufficient guide for you. The reverse is also true. Sometimes there are things which are illegal, but they might be ethical. Nowadays, you might be knowing, most of the crimes are detected. See, I'm giving you examples from policing because that is the area I'm most familiar with. But there are examples in all fields, any field that you join. So, most crimes are getting detected by phone tapping and phone tracking. Okay? There is an elaborate procedure for taking prior permission before we tap a phone of a suspected criminal. But unfortunately, that takes some time. Taking that permission, it's an elaborate procedure. It is decided at 3 levels. Meanwhile, we don't have that much of time most of the time. Especially in heinous crimes, there is a tendency for the criminal to escape the jurisdiction of the local police or the country's police. In Bengal especially, many criminals try, heinous crime criminals, terrorists and things, they try and escape into Bangladesh or Nepal or Bhutan. These are fairly porous borders. So we are in a hurry. So there is a procedure for that also, that you take action after applying for it, and there is a post facto permission. Suppose there is a terrorist incident. I have suspected somebody, and after applying, I am going ahead and tapping his phone before the permission has taken place. And I arrest someone, and after that, the permission is not granted. So what have I done? I have done something illegal. Maybe the person I have arrested turns out to be a false alarm, not the right person. But there is a possibility that by not going strictly by the permission bit, I arrest the right person who has planted a few bombs, say in JIS University, which will go off. By arresting him, I am able to locate those bombs and defuse it. Have I done something ethical or not? I have saved hundreds of lives there, right? Here is an example where there is something illegal, but definitely eminently ethical. That is why the situation gets a little complicated. Okay? So, 2 things we have covered. One is when it is completely unfeasible, go for a gradualist approach. Sometimes when it is difficult to know what is good, then try and look around the situation, look at the basis for your assumptions, look at the basis of the theory that you are trying to apply, and try and get as much of information as possible so that you might end up with a more robust decision. These are 2 things. What is the third thing I said? Most of you must have forgotten. That is that you are always faced with a lot of choices, and it is each of the alternate choices have different implications for people. You have to choose one, and there are very severe difficulties at that. Each of you has something called a personal morality. That morality is different from one person to another person to a third person. Okay, what is that morality? That morality is the sum total of your circumstances of birth, the kind of experiences and interactions you are exposed to, the kind of thinking that you did, the kind of conclusions that you arrived at inside your own mind, and gradually a certain number of values, etc., have got ingrained into you. Okay? And you generally tend to live your life by that code. But when you join a profession or a career or you start your own thing, that particular organization or that particular profession will impose its own particular ethical code upon you. Now, these two codes, that ethical code and your personal morality, they are all the time in conflict with each other. The conflict might be very mild, but the conflict can also be very severe. So let me give you an example. This one is not from the police, but this is a real life example. This was a person who was 2 batches senior to me at Harvard University. He was a doctor from Singapore. Now, a lot of people, for example, Catholics, certain sects in other religions, they believe that life begins right at the time of conception. Okay? Not when a person is born, but at the moment of conception. As a result, they are anti-choice. They are anti-abortion, because for them, abortion is killing a human being. Now, this person belonged to a particular sect of Buddhism, where they try and every day they try and become more and more of something called a Junji. So this sect also subscribed to this kind of belief. They thought taking any life, even an unborn baby's, is a sin. In fact, the ultimate sin. Now, what is the code of ethics for the doctor? If there is a choice between the life of an expectant mother and the life of the unborn baby, you save the mother. That is the medical code. So despite having this kind of a belief, this chap, he became a doctor. Can you do that? You can, by using a particular mechanism called being a conscientious objector. That is, you declare upfront saying, look, this is my value system. I shall not be a party to abortion. But all the other demands of the medical profession, I will try and fulfill to the best of my ability and knowledge. And you are allowed to do that. In some countries, it is allowed officially. In some countries, it is allowed unofficially. In his case, it was allowed officially. Unfortunately for him, one day late in the night, he found himself as the only doctor in an emergency ward. And an expectant mother was wheeled in, and she was in a very bad shape. Now, the baby was preterm, and if the baby was to be saved, if the delivery took place, the baby may or may not survive. The mother and her partner, she was an unwed mother, they also did not want the baby, but since it happened, they were going ahead with it. But meanwhile, her life was at stake. If the delivery was attempted, she was definite to die. Look at the kind of conflict this person had. 30 years or so, he has grown up saying, this is a sin, I cannot commit this. He was also allowed to do it, but he can't summon a doctor within that short notice, and time is ticking by, seconds are ticking by, he has to take a decision. What he did or did not do is part of a case study in the ethics course there. It is still being debated upon. I will not go into that. I'm just exposing you to the kind of conflict that can arise between your personal morality and your professional ethics in any field. Lawyer, for example, he is bound by keeping any communication with the client confidential. Meanwhile, the criminal, the client might be a very hardened criminal and about to commit some more crimes also. So is he being good for the society or not? These are conflicts that will arise, and you have to tiptoe your way through that. Another problem you have in your profession is there will be a difference between the stated objectives and the expected outcomes. Okay? Another example from police. In police firing, anytime there is a police firing, there is a magisterial inquiry, And what is the stated objective of the magisterial inquiry? That is to uncover the truth, examine the circumstances, and find out whether the police firing was justified or not. Every single police firing case I have seen or been associated with, I have found that the expected outcome is somehow to exonerate the police officer so that the minister can stand up tall in the parliament or the assembly and claim we made a full and impartial inquiry and everything was justified. Okay? When you are faced with this, I would humbly request that even though the pressure for bowing to the expected outcome will be enormous, if possible, or at least make a very honest attempt not to go with that flow, but stick to that stated objective. It is sometimes very difficult, but it can be done, because that is what you have been appointed for, and that is what you are supposed to do. Another problem with choices is, a lot of people make these wrong personal choices, which have very devastating consequences. When we guys joined IPS, we were also like you, sitting with stars in our eyes and full of idealism and thinking we'll all do very good for the world, at least most of us. I think when we start, we don't start with the assumption that we will do unethical things, etc., etc. But like the proverb says, time heals all wounds, but I would say time wounds all heals also. So what happens to some of the officers, not all, some of the officers, they come there and initial assumption is, I will do nothing wrong, I shall not allow anyone to do anything wrong. So wherever you see anything wrong, anybody doing any badmashi or any of your superior officers or subordinate officers doing any hera-feri, you just jump in like a greyhound dog and bark and bite and try and sort out things. Meanwhile, the system will try and push back and they will try and crush you as much as possible, grind you to dust, and you hold your own for some time. But that is the first stage. As time goes by, with some of the officers, what happens is, they find that as they are getting more and more crushed by the system and having a very bad time of it, some of their colleagues who have a more flexible approach, they are having a much easier time of it. Okay? Initially they are still gung-ho about their ethical paradigm, but over time the span reduces. Initially, what did they say? They said, I will do nothing wrong and I will not allow anybody to do anything wrong. Then it compresses to, I will do nothing wrong, let others do whatever they want. Okay? They carry on in that fashion, that is the second stage. Then they reach a third stage, when they find that all these people have gotten ahead in life. If you are in the corporate sector, maybe they are getting more and more increments and promotions and getting higher positions. In police, they are getting more and more important assignments. As a lawyer, they are getting fatter and fatter briefs, etc. Meanwhile, these guys are surveying in the boondocks. Then they start questioning. This is the third stage. They say, no, let me think. What is right and what is wrong? That is the time of self-doubt. Okay? This process goes on for a while. Then they reach the fourth stage when it takes a 180-degree turn. Then they say, no, what was earlier right was actually wrong, what was earlier wrong was actually right. That is the fourth stage. But this is a very uneasy stage, because even if you go down that unethical path, your conscience and everything is still militating against it. Your family members, your children are looking at you with different eyes. Your peer group status is taking a hit. So you are in a very disturbed situation. So finally you reach that stage when you give up and you say, no, I'll do nothing. Okay, this happens to some people. This is a phenomenon called the problem of the slippery slope. Most of you must have played with slides as kids. Maybe some of you are still kids and playing with slides. So what happens? You go down the slide a little distance and you can come back. You go down a little more, you can still come back. But as you go further down, at some point, you gather so much of momentum that you can't come back. You just crash with a thud. This is what happens to this kind of thing. It has devastating consequences, not only for themselves, but for their organization, for their environment. Once you do that, once you get into that slippery slope, there is no question of coming back and restoring the status quo ante. Be very careful, be very aware or alert to the possibility of going down that path. It starts with some small infringements, but later on it becomes so massive that there is no looking back and you are doomed forever. Okay? So these are the three basic problems that makes life complicated when you are trying to be ethical. What have I done now? I have said that everything is relative, everything depends on the circumstances and situation, and everything you have to take your own decision. Having said that, is there any concrete advice I can give you as far as ethics is concerned? Not much, but I would like to leave you with two small pieces of advice for your consideration. First one is, whenever you are faced with an ethical situation, don't go for a knee-jerk reaction despite being armed with all theories or thinking, but take a moment. It may not be very long, but look around the situation and circumstances, think ahead, think again, and think across. Okay, then you might have a much better decision which will stand the test of time. The second submission I have is, see, all your rewards will depend on your immediate results. Suppose you're working for a company, suppose you generate some profit for it today, you get your increment today. Your increment, your promotions, everything will depend on the results that you are producing today. But by chasing that particular result, if you are cutting corners, you might be creating very major damage for your organization, for your environment, and for yourself. If an environment is damaged because you are putting in polluting factories which will give you a quick buck, that environment damage will take decades to rectify, may not get rectified also. So I would humbly suggest that even though your rewards depends on here and now, rather than being a here and now manager, try and here and now professional, try and be a today plus tomorrow professional. Okay? So I would like to end with a quotation from a Roman philosopher called Seneca, who said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." বাংলায় বললে, গল্প যেমন জীবনও তেমন, জীবন কতদিন তা নয়, বরং কতটা ভালো, ওইটাই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। থ্যাংক ইউ।
For those who are trying to leave, kindly sit in the hall. We're just 10 minutes from the completion. You'll get your bags. No worries. I know the message has popped, bag distribution has started. But thank you, sir, for that exhilarating speech. I say exhilarating because I still believe the best of conversations and presentations are made without PPT. And I was so very glad, happy, and mesmerized to see such an eloquent speaker addressing all the issues, ethical and otherwise, and trying to inculcate a sense of responsibility, ethics, morality in you, something that you will need in your coming days. So we are at the fag end of the program, and you have learned nothing because talking in the hall is not part of your ethics, right? Okay. So you see, with ethics, there is also a bit of authority that is required to impose silence. Anyways, for a formal vote of thanks for today, I'll start with thanking the Honorable Chancellor, JIS University, Sir Dr. Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Bhaskar Gupta, Honorable Pro Chancellor, Dr. Neeraj Saxena, and all the esteemed speakers who spoke today, be it the in-house faculty members, Dr. Arindra Maiti, Professor from the Department of Pharmacy, who spoke on the mentor-mentee program, something that you'll be needing daily, something that you will need to gauge on a regular basis to know about your advancements. Because as a mentee, when you have a professor of national and international repute, you'll be able to recalibrate your actions so that you can reach your goals within the stipulated time that you have set for yourself. The second talk was about self-awareness. It was by Dr. Anandita Dev from the Department of English. I think she spoke nicely on the topic of self-awareness. As you might have figured out by now, she is herself an expert on Indology and mythological studies, and she bridged the gap between self-awareness and mythological studies in her speech. The third was about library. By the enthusiasm about the talks on library, I found out that most of you would go to the library eventually, not just right away. The two esteemed guests today, Professor Justice Shomuresh Chaudhary, who spoke on grievance and grievance redressal. It is very important, should you face any instances of grievance, to know what amounts, what qualifies as grievance, and if you have been grieved. What is the meaning of grievance, by the way? What is the meaning of grievance? Issues. When like Justice was speaking, I had this one particular question in mind, like, do the students know what qualifies as a grievance? You had a fight with your friend, does that count as a grievance? Does that qualify as ragging? Peer-to-peer ragging? So first you need to understand like what a grievance is, then you can be assured that if there is any viable act, instances of grievance meted out against you, towards you, those will be addressed and redressed as rapidly as possible. The next esteemed guest for today was Dr. Vibhuti Das, who spoke wonderfully, eloquently, and almost exhilaratingly on ethics as one of the universal human values that you need to inculcate. Now, when we come to talk about values, when you go out of the auditorium, when you go out of the gates of the university, you find yourself chasing the fact that there are no values in this world. People who are corrupted, they go to the highest rungs of the success, and people who try to play by the moral rules, they do not get that amount of success in their lives. But you know, like, have you watched the first edition of Spider-Man? The first. When we were young, you have also watched. I'm not trying to like hide my age, so I'm just saying that the first edition of Spider-Man ended on a very remarkable quotation. Do you remember the quotation when Peter Parker was hanging almost from the tip of a building in New York, and he said something to himself and to the rest of the world? What was the quotation? With great powers? Right, thank you very much. With great powers comes great responsibilities. At this stage of life, you are a bit beyond the supervision of your parents. There will be plethora of choices, life choices and otherwise that you will have to take, you will have to make, decisions that you will have to take. So try to be ethical, moral in your comportment to your life, because the law of karma says life comes a full circle. Whatever you meet out today towards someone else will eventually come back to you. So for us teachers, if we do not teach very well in the class, you will come back at the end of the semester, sir, we did not get the marks. That is our karma. For you, the karma is like, if you do not study, the marks will not be accorded to you. So with great powers, you are at the helm of powers now. You have a free angle to your life. So with great powers comes great responsibility. The responsibility is your well-being and your parents' well-being, and then comes the society's well-being. Thank you very much. We have a cultural program in the second half, and obviously we'll go to collect your bags, those like who are very involved in collection of bags. There is a cultural program in the second half. Is there anyone in the hall who has signed up for the creative writing competition? Okay, no one, fine, that's fine. So there is a cultural competition, your seniors and your like, they have planned a brilliant cultural competition. I will miss the vote of thanks if I do not thank my co-host, Dr. Preeta Bose, assistant professor for the Department of Pharmacy, who has been like managing the entire session right from the day one. and most importantly, the student volunteers who have played a brilliant role in conducting the student induction program safely